as advertised, as promised, Damian Lewis. Damian, how are you?
Very, very well. Very well. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join us.
Such a pleasure.
Ross, are you there, sir?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Damian.
Hi, Ross. Hi.
Now, you got the part, man. You got the big part. You're the leader. That's just got to be flabbergasting to somebody of your age and stature at that time.
It was I always call it a needle in a haystack piece of casting. You know, they went looking for this guy on the West Coast and the East Coast and the bit in the middle, and they came to Britain, they went to Australia, and they didn't know me from Adam, but I went through. I sat in a damp basement in Soho in London, and did the interview, and I did it again a month later, and then I did it again a month after that, and a month after that, and it became increasingly clear that I was getting close to being cast as this guy, but even at that point, there was no real sense of who that guy was. Scripts weren't finished. I'd managed to get a hold of the book by then by Stephen Ambrose. I was starting to get a sense that he was the leader, but when we all started auditioning for this incredible piece of work that we all got involved in, people went in, it was kind of like, let's just get a whole load of guys and get them in to read anything. It was kind of like picking a football team. It's like, we don't know what position anybody's going to play, but let's just stick them all in a field and let's just see how it shakes down. And it ended up with me being sort of channeled towards the part of Dick Winters. And about 3 or 4 months later, I was flown out to LA and I met Stephen and Tom, and it was all kind of fairy tale stuff. I was, however old I was in my late 20s and, had done nothing on this scale before.
Let's talk about the audition process just a little bit more in depth. Taylor Daniels from Texas wanted to know how you were chosen to play the part of Winters, and we've been talking with all the rest of the cast members and their audition process. Did you read for 5 or 6 different guys, or were you always, in their mind, reading for Major Winters?
No, typically you're sent a script. They say, we're interested in you for this role, and you research that character and you go in and you read for that role. With this, it really was. It just kind of get me 100 guys. We'll see them in a week, and just give them a piece to read. Just give them something to read, and we get a sense of their essence, who they are, what they look like, and we'll go from there in the second audition. Immediately, I was in the second audition. I started reading for Dick Winters, and months later, years later, Tony Toe, who was the co-producer on the project and was the guy who was making the flights backwards and forwards to London from LA, he said, when you first read, he said, I knew you were the guy. He said, on your very first reading, I knew you were the guy. And I just said, well, that's weird. And secondly, I guess it's flattering, but, we just, there's a process, and they saw me 3 or 4 times, and because it was a long process and they were, auditioning people all over the world, they came back, only a month at a time. So there was a long gap between them. I gave up. I forgot all about it. I just, there was other stuff going on. And, when you don't hear about stuff, you just get used to writing it off as an actor. You just go, well, that didn't work out. I got other things to concentrate on. And then they finally came back. And in the final audition, I'm sitting there with Tony Toe, back in this same damp basement in Soho, London, and he just goes, so Damian, how'd you like to fly to LA Tuesday and meet Stephen and Tom? And I said, I'm sorry, say that again. He said, I want you to come to LA with me and meet Stephen and Tom. I want them to see you, and I want you to be Dick Winters. And then it got very LA, which is very un-London. It suddenly got very LA. The phone was picked up. Airlines were called. He said, have you got your passport? And I said, no, I didn't come to the audition with my passport. I had no idea. Sorry, no. Anyway, and the whole thing, like the machine went into action right in front of me. And sure enough, the following Tuesday, I was sitting in Shutters on the Beach, a beautiful hotel in Santa Monica. And that afternoon I was acting with Tom Hanks, which was a kick in itself, and weird, and Ron Livingston as well. Ron and myself and Tom Hanks were kicking the ball around, and
that must have been, I mean, an absolute whirlwind.
Yeah, it was. It was all very romantic. It was the ultimate Hollywood moment for a young actor. I was, especially as I'm, I was living in a different country, and I was given the Hollywood treatment. I was given the 5-star treatment, the first class flights, and the suite in the hotel, and I met Tom. We had a great time. We kicked a few scenes around. As I say, Ron was there, and then I went out. I had a friend in LA, and I went out and I got legless that night. I just went, this is a trip. This is so much fun. I went out till 4 a.m, and I got a call the next day. I had no idea that I had any more to do. I got a call from the casting director, Meg Lieberman, at 8 a.m. She said, "Hey, Damian." I said, "Hi, Meg. How are you doing?" I said, "Fine." She said, "So Stephen will see you at 10 o'clock. I went, "What?" "Stephen who?" She said, "Steven Spielberg will see you at Steven who? Steven who? Steven Spielberg." I said, "Steven Spielberg wants to see me now? I saw Tom yesterday." She said, "Yes, he'll see you at 10 o'clock. Okay, a car will come at 9:30. I'll tell you, in 90 minutes, I had about 16 cups of coffee. I had 3 showers. I was trying to sober up quickly.
You must have been drinking tequila.
I was young. I was drinking everything. But I tell you, that was the sweatiest audition I've ever had. I went in there shaking and clammy, and then in the end just talked soccer with Stephen, because he was about to go and see his kid in a soccer match, and he really wanted to talk soccer. So we spoke about football. It was amazing. It was just so relaxed, and the only thing that I still don't know why I got the role to this day, because I showed up and sitting outside the room waiting, we'd been there for 10 minutes, was this guy from Canada, another actor. I walked into the waiting room and I saw Dick Winters sitting in that chair. There was an actor there, I can't remember his name. He was the spitting image. He was like Dick Winters' love child if he'd had one. It was extraordinary. And I went, why did they fly me all the way from London just to tell me that, we like you, we're going to give you another role or something? Because this guy was the spit of him. It was amazing. Anyway, he went in first. And then, of course, he came out and he just went, "I want to wish you best of luck, man. Go for it. You're going to have a great time." He was really generous and really sweet. And I realized at that point that it wasn't him. It was me. I can't work it out. It was uncanny how much he looked like him.